Imagine a man who, despite all odds, becomes a beacon of sheer will and determination. That man is David Goggins. Born into poverty, plagued by prejudice, and once tipping the scales at nearly 300 pounds, he was a man cornered by life's harshest realities. Yet, Goggins refused to be defined by his circumstances. Instead, he chose to redefine himself, shedding weight and shattering expectations. He transformed himself into a symbol of resilience, becoming one of the world's toughest men. Goggins' journey led him to the rigorous training of the Navy SEALs, and he didn't stop there. He pushed past human limits, running ultra-marathons and smashing world records. His story is not one of overnight success, but of a relentless pursuit of greatness, a testament to the power of the human spirit. He did not just survive, he thrived. Goggins didn't just overcome his circumstances, he dominated them. And he did it all by following a simple rule. It's called the 40% rule, a principle that could change your life as it did David Goggins. Imagine a Navy SEAL in training. The grueling physical demands are relentless, but it isn't the body that gives up first, it's the mind. This is where the 40% rule comes into play. Born out of the intense rigors of Navy SEALs training, the rule is not about physical endurance but mental resilience. The 40% rule is a mental barrier, not a physical one. It's about the mind's power to dictate what the body can or cannot do. When you're pushing your limits, whether it's running a marathon, studying for an exam, or working on a project, your mind often screams, "Enough," way before your body is truly spent. Here's the kicker. When your mind tells you that you're done, you're only 40% done. That's right, you've only tapped into 40% of your potential. The rest, the full 60%, is still there, waiting to be unleashed. It's a daunting thought, but also an empowering one. It means you're capable of far more than you believe. David Goggins, the man who once held the world record for pull-ups, embraced this rule. Despite his initial struggles, he was able to push past his perceived limits and achieve what seemed impossible. His story is not of physical prowess, but of mental fortitude. He chose to listen to the part of his mind that said keep going, rather than the part that cried give up. This is the essence of the 40% rule. It's about breaking down the mental barriers that hold us back. It's about realizing that those moments of exhaustion, of wanting to quit, are just mental constructs. They can be overcome. They must be overcome, if we are to tap into the vast reserves of potential that lie dormant within us. The 40% rule is not a magic trick, nor is it a shortcut to success. It's a mindset that pushes you to go beyond what you think is possible. Goggins used this rule to push through his limits, and so can you. Let's delve deeper into how the 40% rule can transform your life. Imagine a man, a marathon runner, hitting what runners famously call the wall. His legs feel like lead, his lungs are on fire, and his mind is screaming at him to stop. But instead of giving in, he remembers the 40% rule. He pushes through the pain, and not only does he finish the race, he shaves off a whole 10 minutes from his personal best. This is the power of the 40% rule in action. Or consider a woman, a first-time entrepreneur. She's hit a roadblock, the business is struggling, and she's on the brink of throwing in the towel. But then, she recalls the 40% rule. She digs in, works harder, pivots her approach, and in a few months, her business is thriving. That's the 40% rule at work. Both of these individuals are not Navy SEALs, they're not superhumans. They're ordinary people like you and me who have tapped into an extraordinary mindset, a mindset that can be unlocked with the 40% rule. You see, the 40% rule is not just about physical endurance. It's not simply about running marathons or completing grueling Navy SEAL training. It's about mental resilience. It's about developing the mental toughness to push past your perceived limits in every area of your life. Whether you're a student struggling with a difficult subject, a worker striving for a promotion, or a parent trying to juggle a busy household, the 40% rule can be your secret weapon. The power of the 40% rule lies in its simplicity. It's a reminder that when you're ready to quit, when you're convinced you've given your all, you've actually only tapped into 40% of your potential. You have so much more to give, so much more to achieve. So next time you're up against a wall, remember the 40% rule. Push a little harder, dig a little deeper. You're stronger than you think, capable of more than you ever imagined. As Goggins says, when you think you're done, you're only at 40% of your body's capability. So how can you apply the 40% rule in your life? First, understanding the 40% rule is key. It's a concept that when your mind tells you that you're done, you're really only about 40% done. Now, how to use it? Start with a mindset shift. Begin to see your limits not as barriers but as hurdles you can leap over. When you feel like you've reached your limit, tell yourself you're only 40% there. Remember, it's not just about physical endurance but mental tenacity as well. Next, set clear, attainable goals. Whether it's running a mile or acing a test, define what success looks like for you. Once you've set your goal, push yourself to reach it. Then push yourself to exceed it. That's the essence of the 40% rule. Now let's talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. Comfort zones are cozy, but they're also complacent. They're where dreams go to stagnate. So, step out. Do something that scares you. Run that extra mile. Take that challenging class. Apply for that dream job. But remember, implementing the 40% rule isn't just about pushing beyond your limits. It's about sustaining that effort, day in and day out. It's about consistency. So, take small steps, but take them consistently. If you're training for a marathon, don't start by trying to run 26 miles on day 1. Start with 1 mile, then 2, then 3. Keep pushing yourself, but do it gradually and consistently. And finally, don't be afraid to fail. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone towards it. When you fail, you learn, you grow, you become stronger, and you get closer to that magic 60% beyond your perceived limits. So how can you apply the 40% rule in your life? Simple. Change your mindset, set your goals, step out of your comfort zone, stay consistent, embrace failure. And always believe in your ability to push beyond your limits. Remember, the first step to becoming unstoppable like Goggins is to believe that you can. So, are you ready to unlock your full potential? We've journeyed together through the inspirational life of David Goggins, a man who has truly embodied the Navy SEAL's 40% rule. We've unveiled the rule's essence. When you think you're done, you're only 40% in. We've explored the transformative potential this rule holds, how it can empower you to push through the perceived limits, to conquer the unconquerable. Remember, the 40% rule is not just about physical exertion. It is a philosophy that applies to all aspects of life. Whether you're striving for a promotion, running a marathon, or learning a new skill, this rule can be your guide. It's about breaking down barriers, about realizing that you are so much more capable than you ever thought possible. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more motivational content. Remember, you're stronger than you think. Now, go unleash your potential.